ẹ kálẹ́ a kú iṣẹ́ òní gbogbo àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá tí wà nílé lóko lẹ́yìn odi pàápàá jùlọ mo kí àwọn bàbá wa orí adé ọ̀run ìlẹ̀kẹ̀ ọbẹ̀ látòrí bàbá wa Òrìṣà bàbá wa ọba Adéyẹyè Ògúnwùsì Ọ̀jájá Ọ̀ọ̀ni tilé Ifẹ̀ káàkiri gbogbo àwọn ọba tó kù pátápátá nílẹ̀ Yorùbá mo kí wa ìgbàjẹ̀dẹ̀ra máa jẹ́ ogun oníwọlẹ̀ Yorùbá o a ò ní rí wàhálà ò ní rí fìtínà mo kí gbogbo àwa mùsùlùmí lápapọ̀ mo kí gbogbo àwa kìrìsìtẹ́nì mo kí gbogbo àwọn oníṣẹ̀ṣe mo kí onílé mo kí àlejò ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ò ní bàjẹ́ ẹ rí i pé mo ti tẹnu mọ́ tipẹ́ gbogbo èèyàn ló ń sọ àwọn kan gbà àwọn kan ò gbà nígbà kan bẹ̀rẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n bí tọ́rọ̀ dé dúró lónìí sí báyìí a máa rí wípé orílẹ̀-èdè yóò pín orílẹ̀-èdè tá a wà yìí ó máa pín ní wọ́rọ́wọ́ dẹ̀ ni láì ní sógun láì ní sí wàhálà láì ní sí fìtínà láì ní síjà rárá òtítọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ ti ń fojú hàn òtítọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ ó ti ń fojú hàn bọ̀ ṣé báwa ń sọ wípé agbára àwọn ìjọba yìí ò ká mọ́ rárá agbára wọn ò ká orílẹ̀-èdè yìí ti bàjẹ́ tayọ bìkẹ́wù ó ti bàjẹ́ tayọ agbára wọn ó ti bàjẹ́ tayọ agbára wọn ètò tún wá bàjẹ́ pátápátá ni wípé oníkálukú ń sáré tiẹ̀ ni tó bá jẹ́ wípé àwọn olóṣèlú tá a ní àwọn ìjọba ológun tí wọ́n ti ṣe sẹ́yìn tó bá jẹ́ pé wọ́n ń ṣe níṣe wípé kó orílẹ̀-èdè yóò túbà kó tùṣẹ́ ni orílẹ̀-èdè yóò dájú lóyìnbó lọ yóò dájú Amẹ́ríkà lọ yóò dájú London lọ yóò dájú Mexico lọ yóò dájú Germany lọ kódà yóò fi ọ̀nà gbọ̀rọ̀gbọ̀rọ̀ dájú China lọ ẹ̀wà rí ẹ ṣùgbọ́n àwọn tá a ní lásìwájú lólógun àwọn tá a ní aṣíwájú lólóṣèlú àpò ara wọn nìkan ni wọ́n ń dù làwọn fi ń sọ pé kò lè dáa gèsè pé tó bá jẹ́ wípé wọ́n ń ja ìjà tìlú ni ó rọrùn kódà kó wá lé báyìí ní àmọ́ wípé ìjàlú ni wọ́n ń jà tó fi lé gbogbo ọjọ́ abẹ́wulẹ̀tì ibi tó bá kù sí yẹn ìlànà sáré àtúnṣe rẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n nísìnyí àwọn tí ń ja àjàsápò àwọn tó ń ja àjàsápò nínú gbogbo ìjọba tí wọ́n ń ṣe àwọn ológun ṣe wọ́n ń jà sápò ara wọn ni àwọn olóṣèlú ṣe wọ́n ń jà sápò ara wọn ni ọ̀nà wọn dàda fi fẹ́ gbógun tì wọ́n ọ̀nà dà tó orílẹ̀-èdè fi fẹ́ bọ́ nínú ìṣòro ọ̀nà dà ìyà tí ń jẹ wá lójoojúmọ́ yìí tó fi lè dópin kò lè dópin yóò mọ pọ̀ sí ní ẹ̀rí wípé bíjọba kan bá fẹ́ kúrò tá à ń ṣépèlé tá à ń bu tá a fẹ́ lè yọrí ká máa lù wọ́n tí bá wá ń lọ yóò ní ẹ padà ṣàdúrà fóun ọdẹ wa rí bẹ́ẹ̀ lóòótọ́ tọ́bọ̀ wá lọ tọ́bọ̀ ṣe le tó le koko tí gbogbo ẹ̀ dàrú lára ní òǹkálukú á tún máa fi ìjọba òun tọrọ yìí pé kọ́dà ìjọba tó lọ ní ó tó fẹ́ẹ́ da gbélé yìí lọ ẹ̀rọ bíi tí a mọ wa lára dé lọ́wọ́ fi à ń pariwo máa fi àwọn àṣírí kan hàn yín lónìí gbẹgẹdẹ ti gbiná kedere ti bẹ̀ wò Yorùbá nípa àwọn ọ̀yà Ìgbò nípa àwọn ọ̀yà ó ti kà àwọn Haúsá gan láyà àwọn Haúsá gan pìtìpìtì ó ti wọ ọ̀dọ̀ wọn ọkàn yẹ pé ẹ̀mí tí wọ́n yí ń pa àǹfà jàdùkú àǹfà wàhálà ó ti wá yí àwọn náà gàbádá wípé yes àwọn làwọn ń da orílẹ̀-èdè yìí rú ẹ rí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àṣírí níbi fídíò yìí lèmi ṣe máa ń bẹ̀ wá wípé àwọn fídíò tí máa ṣe jáde àwọn fúnra tí máa ṣe jáde ẹ̀yin olóríire tẹ̀ tí ń bá mi bọ̀ látẹ̀yìn tẹ̀ mọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ sì subscribe àwọn tá a tún wá jẹ́ olóríire tá a ṣẹ̀ bá fídíò tuntun pàdé tá a mọ́ bá ṣe subscribe yẹ tẹ̀lé mi ká lọ fídíò tẹ̀ ń wò yìí gẹ́gẹ́ káwọ́ sàlẹ̀ rẹ̀ pátápátá lọ́wọ́ ọ̀tún á rí tí wọ́n kọ SUBSCRIB subscribe ẹ̀dẹ́ kára fi ká tẹ̀ lórí báyìí yóò paradà yóò di subscribe yóò gba aago kékeré kan sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ dì ní gẹ́gẹ́ ra aago ń bẹ̀ ẹ fọwọ́ tẹ aago yẹn aago yóò yí padà yóò di mẹ́ta yóò wá tó látòkè wá sísàlẹ̀ èyí tó wà lókè ẹ̀ pátápátá tí wọ́n kun ní ẹ̀ ní dúdú tàbí funfun ògàngàn ní kẹtẹ̀ wọ́n kọ AWL sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ rẹ̀ ìyẹn ni pé ẹ ti gba notification yẹn ní kété tá a bá ń wà lórí live tá a gbé fídíò jáde tá a gbé ṣọ́ọ̀tì jáde wọ́n ń kọ́mẹ́ǹtì ni wọ́n ń reply to comment ní gbogbo tí máa ń lọ pátápátá gbogbo nǹkan tí máa ń lọ pátápátá lórí channel ẹ̀yin lẹ́ẹ̀kọ̀ọ̀kan máa rí ọ̀dọ̀ yín lẹ́ẹ̀kọ̀ọ́ máa balẹ̀ sí ìtumọ̀ subscribe nìyẹn ìtumọ̀ notification nìyẹn ẹ wà ní orí ọ̀fẹ́ gbàngbàngbà láti padà sẹ́yìn. Lèmi sì máa ń pariwo fún agbe ẹni tó bá wo fọ́nrán tuntun tí ń bá ṣe, ẹni tó bá wo fọ́nrán tuntun ní Masterpiece MTV tí ó bá padà sẹ́yìn kọ́ lọ wọ àwọn ìta ti ṣe sẹ́yìn lọ́gbà, kò lè mọ̀ túmọ̀ fídíò tuntun tó wò dáadáa, nítorí pé sísẹ̀ntẹ̀lé ìlànà fídíò bọ̀ gbogbo ẹ̀ ló nítumọ̀. Evergreen videos ni tí ò lè tí láéláé, àwòkẹ́kọ̀ọ́ àwòkọ́gbọ́n ni. Á bọ́ lọ́wọ́ ìṣòro pẹ̀lú ògùn agbára ìtọ́ lọ́rùn ọba, á bọ́ lọ́wọ́ ìnira yìí. Ẹ rí i pé táwọn ológun ló yẹ kó le, ìgbà táwọn alágbádá tá à ń pariwo ń gbà yẹn pé àfẹ́jọba ológun mọ́ o, ìgbà yẹn lálẹ́ òkun wọn mọ̀ pa wá. Agbára olóṣèlú ọ̀ka, agbára àwọn ọ̀ka tó wà nílẹ̀ yẹn mọ̀yẹ́ ká tara wa, agbára àwọn ọ̀ka, torí wípé ara ti ní aráàlú, ara ti ní aráàlú. Ibi tí èèyàn bíi mẹ́wàá bá ti ń gbádùn tí trillions of people ń jẹ̀yà, ṣé wọ́n á rí ìjọba ṣe nìyẹn? Ṣé wọ́n rí ìjọba ṣe nìyẹn? Tí wọ́n bá rí ṣe ìdùnnú tiwa ni. Bí wọn ò ṣe rí ṣe yí gẹnu wo òdùn, torí wípé kí ni ká fi ìdùnnú àtayọ̀ ká fi kúrò lórílẹ̀‐èdè ká fi bọ́ sí Yorùbá nation ní tó wù wá. Ó ní tó wù wá, kò sí nǹkan méjì. Inú wa dẹ̀ ti dùn wípé yes Yorùbá nation á dára. Màá fàṣírí hàn wá lónìí yìí. Tá a bá bọ́ síbẹ̀ tán iṣẹ́ àlà tí ò ní pẹ́ tí ò ní jìnnà, wọ́n rọ́wọ́ wọn òpin orílẹ̀‐èdè yìí. Tíjà kankan ò ní ṣẹlẹ̀, tó gbẹ kan ò ní ṣẹlẹ̀. Wọ́n á gbà ìlú tá a gbàjó ni, á gba ìlú tá a gba ijó tí wọ́n bá pín báyìí ni, tá a dáná tá a mú aṣọ. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ló máa rí iṣẹ́ àlà, bẹ́ẹ̀ ló máa rí, torí pé Ọlọ́run ti ń kẹ́ wa. Nísìnyí tá a bá ìṣòro tí ibi kọ̀ọ̀kan lè ní ni wípé táwọn ọba ò bá dáa, ṣùgbọ́n nísìnyí ẹ wo tí ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́. Bàbá wa Ṣọ̀ún tìlú Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́ ṣe Imperial Majesty, mo ṣí fìlà forí adé, bàbá wa ṣe Imperial Majesty ọba Fọlábí Ọláoyè Ọládùnní Gándì Olúmọgẹgẹ kẹta. Ẹ worú development tí bàbá yẹn ṣe, ẹ worú development tí bàbá yẹn ṣe sínú ìlú ẹ̀ àtàgbègbè rẹ̀. Kò í wá ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀, kì í ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ nìkan ló máa mọ́ o. Ẹ wo ti eré sport tẹ́ ń ṣe yẹn, ẹ rí i pé yọ̀pọ̀ra kárí gbogbo Nàìjíríà, gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá pátá ní ọmọ lọ bẹ̀ lọ ṣe sport kó lè rán àbáyọ sílé ayé wọn. Ẹ̀wà nìyẹn ń sin báyìí. Ìdí nìyẹn tá a fi lè níṣòro. Ọba tó gbéra pa tí wọ́n lọ rí odidi ààrẹ orílẹ̀-èdè tó jẹ́ wípé ọ̀nà tílẹ̀ Yorùbá gbà develop, ọ̀nà tílù Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́ àtàgbègbè rẹ̀ gbà develop ní bàbá bá lọ ní ọkàn tèmi fi balẹ̀ wípé a lè níṣòro kankan tí Nàìjíríà bá dá, tí Yorùbá nation bá dá dúró. A lè níṣòro, kò sírò ìṣòro ẹ̀yọ̀ kata máa ní. Kádẹ̀ fọkàn balẹ̀, yóò dáa ju èyí tá a wà yìí lọ. A wà wo àwọn àṣírí kan o. Mo fi ń sọ fún wa wípé in tó bá mú àwọn pásítọ̀ dìde, tó mú ìmáàmù dìde, tó mú ọmọwé dìde, tó mú Yorùbá dìde, tó mú Ìgbò dìde, tó mú Hausa dìde, tí ẹnu wọn papọ̀ ipò orílẹ̀-èdè yìí ó ti rẹ̀ ẹ́, ó ti rẹ orílẹ̀-èdè yìí. Orí ààrẹ ló wà. Orí ààrẹ lórílẹ̀-èdè yìí wà o. Wọ́n ní ó sígi àbí kí wọ́n fà sí lára, wọ́n ní mí ni túpe lórí bẹ́ẹ̀dì. Wọ́n ní kò lè dá mímọ́. Wọ́n ní orílẹ̀-èdè yìí wà nílé ìwòsàn lọ́wọ́. Ilé ìwòsàn ní orílẹ̀-èdè yìí wà lórí bẹ́ẹ̀dì tí ń mí túpe tí ń gbẹ yàrá fún bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n ní túpe ní mí pé ọkàn rẹ̀ ò balẹ̀, kò lè mí mọ́, ẹ́ńjìnì ní fi mí. Ẹ wo bí ẹ bọ́ orílẹ̀-èdè yìí dé, ẹ wo bí tí wọ́n bá dé. Wọ́n wá kún wẹ́lẹ́wẹ́lẹ́, alápámápá ẹlẹ́sẹ̀ mẹ́sẹ̀, olórí gbórí lọ. Ìní ń kó nira báwa mẹ̀kúnnù. Tó bá jẹ́ pa láwọn olórí tó dáa ni, ta láwọn aṣíwájú rere, ọmọ Nàìjíríà kán tí ó jìyà ò sí. Ó ṣiṣẹ́ o kò ṣiṣẹ́ o, ó gbọ́dọ̀ máa gba owó oṣù lóṣooṣù tí ò ní miss. Ságbára àjọba ọ̀ka ni. Ṣé bówó yìí làwọn ń kó tẹ́ lọ kó pamọ́ nílùú òyìnbó? Ṣé bówó yìí ni wọ́n ń kó tẹ́ ń kó pamọ́ sàkáǹtì wọn? Ṣé bówó yìí ni wọ́n ń kó tẹ́ fi ń kọ́lé káàkiri, tẹ́ ní dúkìá káàkiri? Ṣé wàá rò páwa gọ̀ ni? Kéde pé ìrètí ń ṣe nínú wa, àìrántí ìlú gẹ́gẹ́ lọ́jẹ́ ṣòro. Táyìn bá rántí wa ni tẹ́ ẹ dẹ epo, tẹ́ ẹ dẹ kẹró, tẹ́ ẹ dẹ pẹtrol, tẹ́ ẹ dẹ síìtù, tẹ́ ẹ dẹ gbogbo ẹ̀ tó rọ ọjà wá wálé, tí gbogbo ẹ ṣe bá ń, tí gbogbo ẹ lọlẹ̀ wẹ́m, títí tí da, tí ilé ìwòsàn da, tá a mú lọ hospital mọ́, táwọn ọmọ ọwọ́ sanwó kankan lè wé mọ́, tákọ̀ ọ̀fẹ́ káàkiri gbogbo orílẹ̀-èdè. Tẹ́ ẹ da mọ́tò síta, ẹ fi kọ́kọ́rọ́ ha lẹ́nu. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ẹni bá ti gbé tó gbé láti ibìkan síbi kejì mọ́ yọ kọ́kọ́rọ́ pọ̀ ń bẹ́ẹ̀. Ẹ sì kọ́ àwọn agbófinró táwọn gbọ́dọ̀ ló bàjẹ́. Ẹ wàá rí yẹn a sì wá ṣàròyé a sì pariwo ìgbàjẹ́ pápọ̀ ara ti nìkan lẹ́yìn mọ̀ sẹ́yìn nìkan lọ́wọ́ aṣọ orílẹ̀-èdè yìí fún ni tí owó ti ń bẹ lórílẹ̀-èdè yìí ẹ̀yìn nìkan lọ́wọ́ ń ṣe fún àwọn wà lajú kalẹ̀ àmọ̀ wòye ran ẹ̀yin bíi nọ́mbà tó níye wá ń gbádùn nọ́mbà tí ò níye pìtìpìtì ọwọ́ bá gbogbo wa ọrọ̀ ajé ọ̀wá rọgbọ mọ́ nǹkan ọ̀dá àtijọ́ àti mú ìnira mú kálukú ẹ wá ní ká lajú ká máa wòye ran sọ wá ṣeṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣáájá tó yó ó lè bá àwọn ajá tó pọ̀ tí wọ́n pọ̀ rẹpẹtẹ tí wọn ò yó tó lè bá wọn ṣàwàdà ṣé wọn ò ní fàáya ṣé wọn ò ní fàáya ìlà ń kígbe jojúmọ́ ìlà ń pariwo tẹ́ bá ṣe dá ní ìwọ̀n balariwo ọmọ torí pé a mọ̀ pé yọ̀bọ̀ padà dá dúró kí ẹ torí pé gbàtẹ́ ẹ̀ ṣe dá o ẹ̀ ṣe dá o ẹ̀ ṣe dá o yóò bọ́ dá dúró láyè tiẹ̀ tó bá tásìkò ṣùgbọ́n ká rí iṣẹ́ gangan ló wà ká tinú gbádùn bọ́ sínú gbádùn tó nípa gidi ẹ̀yin wá ń sáré àpàrà tí nìkan ẹ tẹ̀lé mi ká lọ ẹ rí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àṣírí níwò mi fídíò yìí mo sọ fún yín ẹ má jẹ́ ká fò rárá ẹ jẹ́ ká mú láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ká wá wò dópin níbi máa ń pariwo wípé ẹni ọba wo fọ́nrán tuntun tí ọba wo àwọn tí mo ṣe sẹ́yìn olú ẹ̀ òwò kò kọ̀ lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ kankan kó mẹ́ẹ̀ olú ẹ̀ kàn wòran lásán sọ gàbádáyà kọ̀ mọ̀túmọ̀ fídíò ẹ tẹ̀lé mi ká lọ ohun tó ṣẹlẹ̀.
My word, I am seeing Yoruba separate, Biafra separate, Arewa separate. Separate. It's coming. It will happen soon. Separate. Separate.
That we must restructure. I mean, either we restructure or we break. That means they say you don't have to be a prophet to know that one. That is certain to come. Restructure or break up.
I asked Allah, I said Allah to share Nigeria into 4. Allah share Nigeria into 4. Let everybody relax. We don't have any time. We are killing everybody. If what happened in Edo State, if it happened in northern Nigeria, it happened that they kill Igbo people or they kill any southerner, the story will be different. The story will be different. You know, Igbo people with propaganda. So more time they say Muslims are killing Christians. It happened in the north side. I have one of my previous video that I said about that it can't happen really. You understand? So we don't want any issue. May Allah, I say God, may God share Nigeria in 4 parts. May you give you a Biafra 5 plot of your land. You carry JJ, go. We don't get issue with you. Niger Delta, you get oil, get resources. May God give you your own creek. Carry your creek, go. JJ, no fight. Yoruba people, Allah don't give you blessing of sea. You have seaport, you have resources. Carry your resources, alhamdulillah. Carry them, JJ, go without sharing of blood. Very simple. We are deceiving ourselves every time. One Nigerians, but we are not once for our minds. Just take a good look at what happened in Nigeria. It has been that what happened recently in Edo State, it happened in the north side. The story will be different. Even channel television cannot allow to rest. Social media everywhere. But now it's happened with Hausa people. They look like people are taking them like animals. I see some people are doing propaganda, carrying another bandit pictures, another country pictures are posting and saying that, see, Northern, where are they carrying 47 to go this? You see what happened? You, Northern, you have lands, you have land to farm, you have gold, you have oil. We, Northern, we have oil. We have oil as Niger Delta have. So where are we looking? Everybody carries his own self, JJ, and go. Share without blood. We can share the country without blood. It happened during Jonathan. They did it in House of Assembly. They did not succeed. But inshallah, now, let's do it by ourselves. Let's do it generalizing, not sharing of blood. Let's share the country. Everybody will stay peace. Everybody will stay peace. If I'm going to Lagos and I'm going to another country, I will follow their rules. If they're coming to my side, they know they're going to another country, they follow their side. Everybody is very simple. All is West Africa.
Let's tell ourselves the truth now, at least for once. See, I'm going to speak and a lot of people will think I'm speaking like a Biafrano, but no, I want us to reason like analytical human beings. The fact is the division of Nigeria with all the indications on ground so far is inevitable. The division of Nigeria is inevitable without implementing the regional system of government. Okay, let's look at the indicators. Number 1, the fact is the issue of national insecurity at the moment happens to be majorly a northern problem, right? You will quite agree with me on that. And in that regards now, any government of the day, any president at the moment that is not of the northern descent or northern origin that tries to fix that, if he's hoping to come for a second tenure, I bet you he can't succeed in that. You quite agree with me, right? And this is what I mean by that. Okay. In addressing, considering bringing into view now what happened recently in Benue, just the normal issue of farmers-herders clashes as they call it, right? Okay. in fixing this kind of situations. Now, forget about the deployment of military, police, whatever, the president coming to visit. You quite agree with me that that doesn't solve anything, and it's not going to solve anything. The only thing that will solve that, to some certain extent, is we having a situation where there is ranches established for herders, right? That is to say, the herders must be in tune with changing times. Because you quite agree with me, there is no developed country you go to in this world today that you'll find a situation where animals wander all around. There is none. You can never find any developed country of that nature. But in so doing now, if the president of the day tries to enforce that, it's going to be rejected by the northerners to some certain extent, evidently clear even in the past, right? Considering the fact that these people are citizens or whatever, they are nomadic in nature, right? That has always been the conversation. They are nomadic in nature, so they move from places to places. And in fact, I don't know where we're actually getting this. Okay, if you say you are nomadic in nature, how do you expect the government to account for you? Have you ever seen a country where you have citizens being nomadic in nature and the government can account for them and make budget for? So you see, the fact is, the herders must be in tune with changing times, but they are not ready for that, and even the politicians are not ready to have that conversation. Let's look at the issue of dialogue. We need to preach dialogue. We need to be accommodating. There is enough to share, according to Tinubu. But looking at it, you quite agree with me that as far as this life, this nature is concerned now, people have metamorphosized over time, which is the fact that people no more just live because they want to embrace each other in love and peace and harmony. There are two things that guide and regulate the conduct of humanity. One, adequate enforcement of the law, even in developed countries. That is to say, you know that when you do this, this will happen. You must reap for it. You will go in for it. That makes people behave to some certain extent. Another thing that guides people's conduct is the fact that they must be subordinate and superior. Right? That is to say, in anywhere I live for there to be peace, is either they must be, you are the senior, I am the junior. So you know that when you try me, I will finish you, and me that knows that you are more powerful than me, I will not try you. Those are the things that keeps people in check. But if you think that we're going to sit down and be, in as much as we desire one Nigeria, we want to preach and we want to be all accommodating, we believe we're stronger together, but it's not the preaching of peace and love or whatever that keeps people together. These two indications are what keeps people together. And you quite agree with me to some certain extent, the two is missing. There is no adequate enforcement of laws. We are under-policed. Even the armed forces is overwhelmed, and a lot of other things. So what will keep people in check? So what we are fighting for at the moment is a situation where who is more powerful? Is it me, the Fulani man? Is it me, the Yoruba man? Is it me, the Igbo man? Or is it me, the Hausa man? The fact is, that must be sorted out. When it's sorted out, now everybody will know his position, and people now will just decide to keep quiet and whatever. Looking at it, when you now introduce our religious extremism in all aspects as well, that is evident in the country. You have a lot of radical Muslims, radical Christians. We're not ready to tolerate each other. The only thing that will make us tolerate each other, let's tell ourselves the truth, is the full implementation of the law and the adequate protection of the vulnerable. That is just it. And all these things are missing. So how do you tell me we are not going to divide? And the fact is, looking at it now, Tinubu will not dare go that way, right? Because by the time he tries to introduce that, okay, there must be establishment of ranches to curtail the free movement of the Fulanis, you quite agree with me that he is going to lose a lot of... the fact is, he's already losing at the same time as far as the North is concerned at the moment. And that is what will even bring the division closer in that regards. In the sense that Tinubu doesn't look like somebody that is ready to let go of the fact that this 8 years is his birthright. And at the same time, the Northerners are not ready to give it to him. So when you have a clash of the titans, that is what I refer to this 2027. Forget about this defection. Clash of the titans is going to definitely give birth to something. So with all these indications on ground, my brother, the issue of one Nigeria, we are going to get better, will remain nothing but a delusion, seriously. We're going to talk more in this regard.
What it means is that we are not united. We are still what Chief Obafemi Awolowo once called a piece of geographical expression.
A businessman, you are a landlord, but you've not installed this view solar CCTV camera.
Ahmadu Bello once said it was a piece of historical mistake. Because we were cobbled together on 1st January 2014 by Lord Lugard, the Southern and Northern Confederates, and the Lagos colony. After Nigeria had been given her name by a young British author who wrote in the London Financial Times of 8th January 1897, calling it Nigeria, that Niger area. That is first major problem. In other words, we were cobbled together through the direct and indirect rule system that we were operating, with all of us already enjoying our independence. The Benin Empire, the Oyo Empire, the Kanem-Borno Empire, the ancient Ife. We were already independent, having our own systems of government, and we were happy. Jaja Fopobu Nana Fichekiri, Oba of Beramino Baise of Benin, who beat the British back with bare knuckles, for which he was deported to Calabar, where he lived and died 27 years later. So such people that were already used to their independence and ways of life, to put them together and say they cannot now discuss their future.
Is it the reason for the agitation we see in Nigeria? Only the idea of lack of nationhood.
In fact, it is the beginning and the end of it. I can assure you that you were talking about 3 problems. I identified that one major problem. If you don't have nationhood and nobody believes in Nigeria as a country, if I ask you, Shehu, where are you from? You won't say I'm in Nigeria. You first quickly mention your village and then your state. Then you are filling a form. After asking you for your name, the next question is place of origin. You put it town, they say local government. You put it, they say state. You put it, then they say religion. You are already being typified. You are already being profiled to know whether what we want here can come to you or not come to you.
But how do we resolve this? Because either we like it, you are an Ozekome.
Yeah.
You have your origin.
Yes.
You are of the Edo origin.
Yes.
And if you want to drill down, you can tell who your forefathers are.
Yeah, yeah.
I am an Okimbaloye, and I can also tell who my forefathers are.
Yeah.
But can we take away the fact that we are different tongues? Our tongues different.
No.
And presidents who have constituted conferences, at least 2 of the presidents have said, you can have every conversation, but the unity of Nigeria is non-negotiable. The former President Goodluck Jonathan said as much. In those kind of conversations, the fear of disintegration and some people wanting to exit the nation might start, don't you think?
Now, I tell you, Sean, I am not saying every Nigerian should not be the same person. In fact, I've always argued, and I'm on record to say that of Professor Onigu Otite's 374 ethnic groups in Nigeria through the demographic survey, was a great sociologist that speak over 380 languages. Each of them must have a place and be respected in where he comes from. But when you want to roughing it over others, for example, like former President Buhari calling a whole ethnic group, one of the 3 largest ethnic groups, the Igbos, Southeast, as a dot in the cycle. What will you call me? A minority within a minority from Ijukwe, near Aginibude, East local government area of Edo State. What are you going to call me? But in America, for example, they first ask you, what's your name? You tell them. They say, where are you from? We ask you, what do you mean? You mean where I work? Or where I schooled? Or where I live now? Or where I was born? Because each of them would have been different. But they regard themselves as Americans. So they have what you call faith in their country. We do not have faith in our country. How do we do that? That is why when you go around on a Sunday, tomorrow is Sunday, today is Sunday. If you are go around, you will see different town unions. And where will you see a Nigerian union holding a meeting? So it's like the Bible. It says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things shall be added. If we get it right constitutionally, because the present foundations are fundamentally damaged, they are damaged. I give you an example, Sean. If you have a house that the walls are cracking, how do you repair the walls? Do you go to the walls, you take a hammer, you begin to chisel it with a chisel, right? Then you get cement, mortar, you call it bricklayer. I say, me patch this wall. He patches it. In 1 or 2 months' time, more chaos, more gullies, more cracks appear on the wall. You have to look for the cause of that wall. You discover that there's a big tree in your compound whose trees have sprouted. They have become so big that they have gone towards the foundation of the house, and it's what is actually threatening it to fall. What do you do to that tree? You don't go to the tree and cut off the branches, because the branches will grow anyway again, and the walls will continue to crack. You go to the tree, to the roots, uproot it. So,
see, when we begin to talk about Nigeria from the year 2060, the first question that a mathematician will want to ask is, one, are we sure there will be Nigeria in the year 2060? In other words, you're talking about something that you are not 100% sure will be there at the time you are talking about it. You see, because before we can begin to discuss Nigeria of 2060, we need to address the problems that we have right now. That if these problems are not solved, then this will be just an academic exercise. Not that I don't enjoy the exercise, I mean, it's very refreshing. But you see, I think on one of the occasions when I was on a long flight from London to Singapore, a journey of about 13 hours or something, after you've eaten and you slept and you woke up and then discover you still have some 7 hours to go, definitely you have time to fool around a little bit. And then I was thinking about Nigeria. And I have these thoughts within myself, which I think I will just share with you. By the time I finish sharing it, you are likely to consider it a joke from a mathematician, because after all, mathematicians can be eccentric at times. I just felt that why can't we have a system of government that is 100% Nigeria, unique to us? For example, we started off with the British system of government. Somewhere along the line, we moved over to the American system of government. Now, I was just wondering, can't we have a combination of both and see whether it could help us solve a problem? See, because in mathematics, if we want to solve a problem and you try what we call real analysis and it doesn't work, then you move on to complex analysis and see if that will help you. If that fails, you move on to vector analysis and so on. I believe that probably we might need to look at the problem of Nigeria in a slightly different manner. You see, because some people feel that all our problems will be over if Nigeria should break up. I think that is trying to solve the problem of Nigeria as if it's a simple equation problem. The problems of Nigeria will require quite a bit of simultaneous equations, and some of them are not going to be linear either. Forgive me, I'm talking as a mathematician. So I was thinking, why can't we, for example, have a system of government that will create a kind of what I would call United States of Nigeria? Let me explain. We all know that we must restructure. I mean, either we restructure or we break. That means say you don't have to be a prophet to know that one. That is certain to come. Restructure or break up. Now, we don't want to break up. I mean, God forbid. In restructuring, why don't we have, like I said, a Nigerian kind of democracy? At the federal level, for example, why don't we have a president and a prime minister? What do you mean? Well, if we have a president and a prime minister, and we share responsibilities between these two, so that one is not an appendage of the other. For example, if the president controls the army and the prime minister controls the police, if the president controls, shall we say, resources like oil and mining, and the prime minister controls finance and inland revenue, taxes and customs, etc., etc., you just divide responsibilities between the two. And then you come to the state level. And at the state level, you have the governor and you have the premier. And again, you distribute responsibilities between these people in such a manner that one cannot really go all alone without the other. Maybe this is just a mathematical suggestion, and the mathematician can be eccentric, like I've said. Maybe we might begin to tackle the problem.
Check out this smartphone that I got from Temo. It is valued at 192,000 naira, but right now you can get it for less than 10,000 naira on the Temo app, especially if you're a new user. This is the Redmi 12C smartphone, and it has an octa-core processor, a 50 megapixels front camera, a selfie camera, a 4GB of RAM, and 128GB of storage, enough to store all your high quality videos and pictures. With a large 6.7 screen and a powerful 5000 mAh battery, this phone will last all day. Temo is currently running a flash sales promo for
begin to tackle the problem. And if we're going to adopt this model, which you eminent personalities will be able to talk about, I think then we will need urgently to restore what we used to call the House of Chiefs. I have a feeling that one of our major problems is that we have pushed the traditional rulers to the background. And I believe that's a great error, particularly for a country like Nigeria. You see, I find it very ridiculous that one will ask a traditional ruler to inform the chairman of his local government before he travels. Go to any town in Nigeria. Everybody in the town knows who is the paramount ruler, and they respect him. Many of them don't even know the name of the chairman of their local government. The traditional rulers are the actual landlords. They control the respect of their people. Their people will listen to them much more than, I'm sorry to say, they will listen to some politicians. And so just like they have, say, the House of Lords in Britain, why can't we have the House of Chiefs? We might expand it and include in that House of Chiefs, as they do in Britain, include some religious leaders, bishops. I'm not a bishop, I'm a pastor, so don't think I'm including myself. Bishops, chief imams, and so on and so on. These are people who can shape the opinions of the people. I'm just putting that one as a little presentation to those of you who can think about it. Maybe it will help us to get Nigeria going. And then, without any doubt, we must restructure and do it as soon as possible. A United States of Nigeria is likely to survive much more than our present structure.
Mark my word. I am seeing Yoruba separate, Biafra separate, Arewa separate. Separate.
Maybe that you will never watch. You go understand where our problem. Guys, this particular video has been flying on the internet space. Maybe that you will never watch them, and I beg you, sit down and watch this video till the end. You go understand where our problem, wetin dey happen to us as a country, wetin dey happen to African continent, where it is coming from, where the problem is coming from. Just watch this video till the end. Don't go anywhere, and make sure you share this video. See the problem we are facing in this African continent. This thing na bush, oh. This thing na bush. See wetin dey happen. They can't market, they can't transaction where they go on inside this bush. See where our problem is coming from. I tell una say, you see, black man doesn't have problem with a fellow black man. Yes, originally we don't have problem with a fellow black man. But e get wetin cause am. See the cause of it here now. Just watch this video. And me and you know say this jet now no be the regular one where you sabi. See am now. Just watch what is happening here. Watch what is happening. Sometimes I begin to wonder, or other people are wondering, who they sponsor all these guys, who they give them the ammunition, the weapons they possess, who they give them. See them now. When I tell una say Oyibo people, now them they do us. Oyibo people, now them the problem we get for this continent. Oyibo people, now then they sponsor the genocide. Now then they sponsor the where they happen for Africa. On that thing saying a place. See I'm here now. See person where go come out from this jet now. Just watch. See person where go come out from here now. See the kind of transaction where they happen for our bush. Somebody will live as far as Europe. We live as far as West. Come to African bush, they do this kind of thing. See them now. See, you see person will come out. And me and you know say, he come with him soldiers, so with their fellows, with soldiers from that same place. So see them here. See them. Oyibo people, now them be our problem, but we don't know. These same people, see this guy now. That guy now, be Boko Haram leader. These same people who enslaved our fathers. These same people who deceived us and made away with our resources. Look at this. The format they are using now. See the format where they use now. It's no longer the era of slavery. It's no longer the era of deceiving with one thing or the other, or to get away with. This is now the era. They now come with genocide, to sponsor genocide for us to mold the ourselves, and at the end they will get access to our resources. See them. But yet we no go understand. Look at how these people are using our brain, guys.
Mr. President, I do not have a speech to give, but I just want to speak from my heart about the things that you have done since you became the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. You have taken amazing strides that only a bold leader can take since you came into the office. I will just mention maybe 2 or 3 of the many things you have done. I have the opportunity of being close to government, even at the federal level. I've served on the board of BPE for 4 years. So I have an idea of what it is to run a country as complex and as interesting as Nigeria. But you have done it with so much grace and with so much right attitude towards confronting the issues of this great country. The first one, which is the oil subsidy, which you removed. It takes boldness, because I'm old enough to know that subsequent governments have run away from it. And when you made that bold statement at your inauguration, I also was one of the people who were skeptical about it. But today it shows us that leadership requires boldness and taking of the right decisions, which is what you did. And today we can see the result of what decision you took. One of it is, we've had several festivals, Muslim festival, we've had the Christmas and everything. I'm old enough to know that those festivals, there must be long queue, there must be panic. We even have to tell people, Odumbo, store petrol into Rico Nistepo. But we have found out that this your bold move has made people not to have panic when of fuel shortage, and for fuel and petrol stations to operate as normal. And also we can see that fuel prices are surely coming down. And like you said privately now, that it will still come down more than what it is now. And so that is very commendable, because the petrol issues does not involve only the rich, it involves everybody. You know, the rich, the poor, everybody makes use of the petroleum products. So that is one of the things that you have stamped in the history for your boldness. The second one is the issue of the FX transaction. which was all muddled up at the CBN, and a lot of things were happening, and people were getting different rates. But it takes boldness to unify what everybody. It was a 60-pound gorilla in the room, which everybody decided to ignore. But you took on the gorilla, and you made a major statement for the black market to be united with the parallel market. Like I said, I can go on. The youth service, the young people who are coming out to serve their nation, you increased their allowance. The ASU strike that used to happen, which was a perennial problem, one way or the other, you've been able to tackle it. I can go on, but because of your time, we have the student thing. Now, the funding that has been given to indigent students who they would probably not have been able to afford it. Now they have access to these funds. And your commitment towards the youth development in this country, we can see it. And we believe that in 2 years, it's amazing the things that are difficult, the things that were the big gorilla in the room that everybody has ignored. But because of your person and the boldness that you have confronted all of them. And we have come to say that your actions are not going unnoticed. And I believe that the difficult times for Nigerians, we are surely seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Yes, we can really say that the challenges of the earlier first year were necessary, because it will blow up on us one day, and that's what you realize, that if I don't face this thing, sooner or later it's a can being kicked down the road, and if you kick it down the road, you will meet it there someday again. So we want to thank you for that. I also have to thank you since I'm Shonwan for Gomosho, I need to thank you for some of our sons who are working with you. We are Akinkojuna Awomo Gomosho. So we know wherever they are, the warrior spirit is always in them. We have people like the chairman of FIRS, Zach Adedeji, who is from Gomosho land. Of course, we have our Agba Akin here, who is one of the chief of our palace. We have the guy in Debo Adedokun in BPP, you understand? And we know we have some that are not at that level, but we want to say thank you for giving people from our land the opportunity to serve this big country. And Mr. President, one thing I can assure you is that with these people, you can see, and when there are vacancies, ask them whether they are from Ogbomoso, because you are sure that they will perform. Yeah, understand. So we have come also to our father and the father of the land. We have some requests that we will want for you, because it's not every day that we can walk into the presidential villa and see the president. So this one that you've given us the opportunity, we will need to ask for some requests. We have some requests. But before we ask for requests, we also have to really thank you. And I believe, like I said there, that you did it for me indirectly. This road between Oyo and Ogbomoso, it's a road that I grew up to know as a death trap. Thousands of lives, and I mean literally thousands of lives, have been lost. Thousands, if not, millions of money has been lost on that road. because it was a death trap. Trailers, it's an everyday occurrence for trailers to fall on that road. And that one way or the other, you miraculously awarded the pay. What everybody, and I mean this road has been like that for over 40 years. I grew up to know the road as bad road. And you decided that this road must be done. It affected the economy of the town. It affected the economy of the country. I remember that there were trailers line of nearly 12 miles between Lona and Ogbomoso at the time. You just go on and continue to see trailers and trailers. I remember, just to give an incident, that a trailer was coming from the north. He had goats and cattle he was transporting it to the south. But when he got to Ogbomoso, he started selling them at 10,000 naira because he said that all the animals were tired at that time and that before he gets to Lagos, they will have died. So they started selling them. So it tells you what you have done, the economy of linking the south, because we are gateway to the north. And so thank you so much for this road. It's an economic artery that you surely opened up for us. And I know that this country will benefit from it. So I want to thank you. The government also has done the 132 kVA, but the power station has been completed for so many years. But the transmission from where they call Gomo, somewhere near Ilorin, we heard that the contract has been given out. Since I came also, the Minister for Power has been there to assure us. They said they've given it to somebody else. But the city is most of the time. And Mr. President, this town is the second largest town in Oyo State. It used to be, historically, it used to be about the third largest. When you mention Lagos, you mention Kano, the other town you will mention is Ogbomoso. But because Ogbomoso is not the capital, other towns like Abeokuta, like Akure, like Ado-Ekiti, all those ones that we were bigger than, and not even to talk about Osogbo, because they were capital cities, they have now overtaken us. I do not feel that a town like Ogbomoso that comprises of 5 local governments is what makes Ogbomoso local government. Should be in the state where it is. And so, Mr. President, we would like that transmission, 132 kVA, to be connected so we can at least enjoy light a little bit in that town, because we are most of the time in darkness in Ogbomoso. So, and the major one we believe has been done, but the transmission to it. Then our water project. We do not have good running water, and Ogbomoso has 2 dams. So for us to have 2 dams and not have running water, it's something like a shame for us. And so we will want the Mr. President, for you to help us through the water resources. I met with the SGF some time ago, and I mentioned this to him last year. And he got in contact with, he told me he will get in contact with the water resource minister, but nothing has been done. We need the help of the federal government, because this is a mighty and a big town. But for other parts of the local government, where we find out that they do not have a water system, we will want, if we can choose some of those places and at least give them commercial boreholes. So, because water is life. A lot of the sickness that people go through, they are waterborne diseases. So if we can get help in all the other local governments and be able to give them water, we will really appreciate this. Another thing is, we feel we need a federal presence in Ogbomoso, because one of the things federal president does is he gives people employment. the larger the head, the larger the headache. The headache we have a lot is that we have a lot of our youth a lot of people who don't have jobs, not only youth. And federal presence will at least be able, everybody wants a job in Lautech or Bowen. For a town that big, not only two places should they be looking for jobs. So any federal presence that we can have, it will help our town. It will help us to at least have people have basic job. And once there is no job, of course, crime is high, which is what is going on in Ogbomoso now. We're thinking about our general hospital. We have one there. If we can be upgraded to an federal medical center, it will also help us a lot, because of the same thing, for jobs, for opportunities for people. We have, there is something that Agbakin helped us when he was Minister for Sport, helped to bring into the town. It's a medical facility, but they could not staff it. And the whole is a first-class hospital, but it was not staffed. And because of that, they've looted equipments in the place. And so if you can help us through the Ministry of Health, that this wonderful facility can be put into use, it will help a lot of our people. The other thing we are also looking for from the presidency is, which I have to say is, we believe a lot in your government. We believe in the ability of what you can do, because we've seen this. I live in Lagos, I live in Ibadan and Ogbomoso. We can see the impact of your vision in Lagos. And you know this, that our request is few, because instead of asking for so much, the few that we have asked for, if we can help us with this, it will surely make our people to be very happy. The other one which we have spoken to the Minister for Works is that we need now that you have done this road, it will take commercial activity out of the main major road. And we have a major road in Ogbomoso. Mr. President, this one is really in my heart, that if that road, the artery road in Ogbomoso, if it's just a 2-lane something, if it can be changed into a dual carriageway, it will open up the whole town. That is something that is important also to us. The major road in Ogbomoso, for it to be opened up. Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you for your time. And I want to thank the people who came with me, who are they are Obas, they represent the 5 local governments of Ogbomoso individually, and the other people who came with us, the Are Musulumi, and some business people who also came with us. I've just been reminded, it was what I was trying to read.